Carlos Rodon of the Yankees got shelled by the Angels in Anaheim, and after he came off the bump, he blew a kiss to Yankee fans who were not happy with him in the stands. Bryce Harper, he had one of the weirdest at-bats I've seen in quite some time, but he stuck to the game plan. He did not swing the bat one single time, and the Rays, they are currently in danger of losing first place to the Baltimore Orioles, who are hot on their tail. All of that in today's MLB Recap, a series in which we recap every single game almost every single day. And a reminder, if you're going to any concerts or baseball games anytime soon, save yourself $20 off on SeatGeek using code Fuzzy. Now, we do have a breaking trade to talk about. Shintaro Fujinami, he is going from the A's to the Baltimore Orioles for one single minor league pitcher, Easton Lucas. We'll talk about Easton in just a second, but Fujinami, he throws 102 to 103, and even though his stats would actually say that he's terrible at the game of baseball, over his last 15 games, he has a combined 2.7 ERA and 18 strikeouts over those 15 games. He has a nasty plus splitter. Again, he throws 102 miles an hour. I think that this is going to be a perfect fit for Baltimore because they're not going to use him as a starter. They're going to use him in the 5th or the 6th, maybe the 7th inning, just to eat some innings to save the bullpen because he can start games. He's just not very good at that. So for me, this is a double thumbs up trade for me. It doesn't cost a lot because Easton Lucas is a 26-year-old minor league reliever with decent strikeout stuff. He pretty much lacks all command. So, I mean, he's going to be a project for the A's, but there you go. Shintaro Fujinami, he's kind of the first big name trade. I consider him a big name because the potential is there. He has a very high ceiling. He throws 102 with the nasty splitter. So for me, yeah, this is a big trade. The first one of 2023. All right, the first game from yesterday, I want to talk about the Rays at the Rangers. Now, Tampa Bay, they came into this one 3-10 in the month of July, which means they've been the worst team in the American League since the beginning of July. Josh Lowe, he got on second base, and after getting backpicked, his brother, Nathaniel Lowe, tagged him on the elbow, so they kind of gave him a dead arm. They laughed about it. Anyways, you want to see a perfect relay? Josh, he was nabbed at home. That was honestly one of the better relays I've seen in quite some time. It was Adolis Garcia to Marcus Semien, and finally to Jonah Heim at home plate. Leody Taveras, he took over from there. He had a solo home run in the 3rd inning, and then he contributed again later in the 7th inning. But before we show his RBI single, I gotta show this MLB debut. Alex Spies, I think that's how you say his last name. He was coaching youth baseball last year. Now he's turning strike him out, throw him out double plays in the big leagues. He struck out 3 over an inning and 2/3 perfect relief innings. And then there's Leody with an RBI single, and Jonah Heim, he continues to flood the scoreboard. That is a Bible joke because his name is Jonah. Anyways, the Rangers, they beat the Rays 5-1. So what does that mean? If the Orioles win this next game, they'll be in first place. Julio Urias was given a 2-run lead to work with, and there's no more lead no more. Aaron Hicks and Jordan Westbrook, they combined to tie it on 2 different singles, and then Ramon Urias, he took over the game. He beat the other Urias, Julio Urias. He laced an RBI double down the line, make it a 2-run double. Gunnar Henderson, he was flying. He scores all the way from first base. Ramon Urias had a little deja vu later on as he ripped his 2nd RBI double of the game. So this game was all Baltimore through 3 innings. Now, this might seem like a regular home run, but it's not. James Outman became the first left-handed hitter in the history of the brand new Camden Yards with that big wall in left field to hit a baseball over that left field wall. So that just shows how much raw strength James Outman has. Max Muncy went 431 feet on that 2-run home run, and Gunnar Henderson, he matched him feet for feet. That was actually Gunnar Henderson's first ever home run in the big leagues off a lefty. It went 431 feet as well. Felix Bautista, the Mountain, he now has 26 saves. He has exactly a 1 ERA on the season. So yes, we have a new top dog in the AL East. Both Baltimore and Texas, they've been making me look dumb all season long because I said they weren't even going to make the playoffs, and they're both in first place. Before we talk about the Yankee game, let's talk about the Guardians game real quick because Cleveland, they are looking to sweep and hand Pittsburgh their 6th consecutive loss, but Pittsburgh, they were not going to give up easily after going down a few runs. The Pirates, they got 2 in the 5th on a single from Nick Gonzalez, and then that second one came on a double from Jack Sawinski, but the Pirates, they're still not out of the woods just yet. Okay, now they are because G-Man Choi, he found a hole for a huge 2-run go-ahead single, and there's more. Rookie Jared Triolo, I hope I said that right, he knocked in 2 more. He's hitting .311 in his first 17 big league games. Josh Bell, the former Pittsburgh Pirate, he hit another home run. He's hitting .400 over the last 2 weeks, but David Bednar, he came in for the final inning. He has 18 saves, so that is the first win of the second half for the Pirates. All right, here we go. The entire 2023 Yankees season can be summed up perfectly in this final game against the Angels. Taylor Ward, he ripped a monster 2-run home run off of Carlos Rodon, and Luis Rengifo, he went even further on a 2-run home run of his own. Now, after that inning, when Carlos Rodon got the third out, he was walking into the dugout. He was getting trolled or kind of mocked by Yankees fans who were in attendance, and he blew them a kiss. Yankees fans, they were not happy about that. Then the camera cut to Anthony Rizzo laughing it up in the dugout. That also did not sit well with fans because he has not hit a home run in like 30 or 40 games, something crazy like that. Anyways, I guess you got to kind of tip your cap to Chase Silseth. He struck out 10 Yankees over 5. You heard that right. Chase Silseth, before this game, his previous best strikeout performance in 2023 was 5, so he doubled that in one single game. Taylor Ward, he fully broke Tommy Kahnle's brain and also the Yankees at the same time. After that RBI double, Kahnle, he broke a fan in the dugout, so the Yankees, they got swept. They're now just one game ahead of the Halos in the wild card spot. So let me know in the comments down below, do you think that the Yankees can bounce back, or do you think that they should fire Aaron Boone and just kind of move on and start fresh? The Giants are winners of 7 in a row, while the Reds are losers of 6 in a row. That's going to change with one swing, but we'll show that in just a second because we got to show off some Cincinnati defense. There was a strike him out, throw him out courtesy of Graham Ashcraft in the second inning. And look at Elly De La Cruz in the third. He's such an acrobat out there. Even though he's slumping really bad right now, he's still going to get the job done defensively and on the bases if he does take a walk. Will Benson, his 3-run moonshot in the third was all that the Cincinnati staff needed. Benson, by the way, he just turned 25 years old. He has 6 home runs, 8 stolen bases. He's top 10% in speed, even at 6'5", which is wild. That guy's an athlete. Cincinnati, they survive a San Francisco comeback, and Alexis Diaz, he now has 27 saves. The Reds, they get back in the win column. By the way, Alexis Diaz, he has a 1.8 ERA and 148 strikeouts in his first 106 big league innings dating back to last year. The Reds, they beat the Giants 3-2. All right, let's get into the Brewers at the Phillies. Milwaukee, they're going to go up 2-0 after a 2-run double from Blake Perkins. And there's the 2019 MVP, Yelly. He shot one the other way for an RBI double of his own, and good thing he did that because Philly, they got right back into it. Nick Castellanos hit a home run, and then he dabbed up his own son, Liam, at home plate. Kyle Schwarber, he laced a game-tying double in the 5th inning, so we have a brand new ball game. Now check this out. Bryce Harper, he came up in the 6th, and I guess the scouting report said, do not swing at all. He kept the bat on his shoulder for 6 straight pitches. He struck out on a pitch directly down the middle. That was really weird. Anyways, Milwaukee, they kept on battling, and William Contreras, he put the team on his back, not just once, but twice. He had 2 RBI doubles to set up a 5-3 lead for Devin Williams, who got into a little bit of trouble, but he struck out 2. He now has 24 saves on the season. They have a 2.5 game lead over the Reds. The White Sox were taking on the Mets in New York, and Brett Beatty, he sent one out for the 2nd straight game, and look who's driving in runs again, El Troll. Now, I don't call him Troll, by the way. That was a nickname created by the Mets fan base, so take it for what it is. Brandon Nimmo, he had an RBI double in the 4th to put the Mets up 5, and that was all for Justin Verlander, by the way. When you're at 5 and JV is dialed in, you pretty much have a 0% chance of winning, and Justin Verlander, he went 5 shutout on just 59 pitches. He then went 6 shutout, but you can't say the same in the 7th inning because Luis Robert Jr., my goodness, it doesn't matter who's on the bump, he has a chance of going yard on every single pitch. He pulled an outside slider nearly 410 feet. He has 28 home runs. JV, he had a short memory as Verlander ended up going 8 innings with 7 strikeouts. The Mets have now won 3 in a row, but they're 7 games back of a wild card spot in the NL. The Marlins were facing off against the Cardinals. I think for the last time, they're trying to avoid a sweep. The RBI machine, Nolan Arenado, he kept on adding to his stat line. He leads baseball in RBI over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I believe. The other Nolan, Mr. Gorman, he reminded Miami fans that their Cy Young winner from last year, he's not the same guy. Sandy Alcantara has been getting torched all season long. Nolan Gorman, he now has 19 home runs. He's been so good. And speaking of so good, that's what Arenado has been at the hot corner for as long as we can remember. He robs Miami with a jump throw in the 6th inning, and then the other Nolan, he contributed again. Gorman's 4th RBI put the St. Louis Cardinals up by 4, and Miami, they kind of got back into it. There was a home run from Brian De La Cruz. That guy straight up rakes. Luis Ariz, we know that he rakes. He doubled in 1 more, but St. Louis, they eventually got the job done. They sweep Miami, and the Cardinals out of nowhere are winners of 5 straight. While the Marlins, on the other hand, it feels like baseball karma is hitting them in the face. They have won 0 games since they sent down Yuri Perez to the minors. This is probably going to be the easiest game to recap of the entire video. The Padres and the Blue Jays. Yu Darvish and Jose Barrios, they were both lights out to begin this one in Toronto. Barrios, he had 9 punchies, but ultimately, those 2 RBIs off the bat of Manny Machado, that was all that Yu Darvish needed. Yu, he went 6 shutout with 7 strikeouts. Over his last 2 starts, he has 1 earned run allowed and 16 strikeouts in 12 innings. Josh Hader, that's an easy 1, 2, 3, 9th inning. He had 2 more strikeouts. He has 23 saves. So the Padres, they've won 2 in a row. They're getting stronger and stronger every game. They're a half game ahead of the Mets in the wild card spot, so they're 6.5 games back of being in the playoffs. Here we go, the Diamondbacks and the Braves. After these two teams combined for nearly 30 runs the game previously, things were much more normal in this one. Gabriel Moreno of Arizona, he drove in the game's first run, and then Lourdes Gurriel Jr. drove in 2 more on his 22nd double of the season. Nick Ahmed, he made it 4 runs for starting pitcher Ryan Nelson, who looked pretty sharp. He gave up 2 tanks, 1 to Austin Riley, but Austin Riley is just on one of those tears where he's going to hit a home run seems like every other game. He has 3 home runs over the last 24 hours. We're going to skip to the 9th inning where Ronald, he was playing mind games with the closing pitcher Kevin Jinkle. He's 100% in that guy's head, and he ended up scoring on a wild pitch and actually looked back at Jinkle, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry. He notched the save. Atlanta, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they have a season worse 4-game losing streak after they lose 5-3. The Astros were taking on the Rockies one more time, and Jake Myers got knocked in for the first run after a Maurice Dubon RBI single. He did so on his birthday, by the way, so Dubon and I were birthday twins. Jose Abreu, he's been prime Jose Abreu over the last 4-ish weeks. He's hitting .310 with 17 RBIs over his last 20 games. Chas McCormick, he belted a 2-run home run, and his stat line is actually pretty stupid. He's got 12 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 3 outs above average in center field, so he's been a wizard defensively. He's hitting .370 over his last 17 games. Brandon Bielak, he almost went 6 shutout. He left after 92 pitches. He has a 3.4 ERA, so he's been pretty solid. Now, CJ Cron, he did go yard off of Ryan Presley, but ultimately, the Astros, even though they only win by 3, it was a pretty easy game for them. The Red Sox were taking on the A's one more time, and Justin Verlander ups his hit streak to 15 games after that 2-run home run, but JJ Bleday, he tied it right back up. He's got a home run in back-to-back games, and look at Cody Thomas clutching up for his squad. His first ever big league home run, there it is. Jace Peterson, he's got a few big league home runs under his belt. He torched a fastball kind of in his wheelhouse for a 2-run tater. That was the A's 3rd home run off of the youngster Brian Bayo. Bayo, he's been pretty good lately, but he's going to have a blow-up start every so often. Boston, they tried their best to get back into it, making it a 6-5 game, but Trevor May, he got the job done. He has 8 saves, and to be honest with you guys, he's been looking pretty good lately, and I think that he's the next pitcher that's going to get traded from the A's because he's on a 1-year deal. He's not going to stay. The Nationals and the Chicago Cubs, Mike Tauchman, he kickstarted this one with a solo home run the other way, and he just kept on talking. He doubled in 1 more in the 4th, and then another one in the 7th inning, so he had 3 extra base hits in this game. The only problem is Chicago's bullpen, they sucked yesterday. They ruined a win opportunity for Kyle Hendricks, so someone is going to have to play hero ball. Now, Yan Gomes did steal the lead back on a sac fly, but we're going to pretend like it's a tie game, and Nico Hoerner for the win. His first ever grand slam gives him 54 RBIs, 21 stolen bases, and 6 DRS defensively. Nico Hoerner is easily one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. The Cubs, they win 8-3. The Mariners and the Twins, Ryan Jeffers, he stepped up with 2 runners on with 2 outs, and he delivered for Minnesota, so it's 2-0 Twins when Carlos Correa, he snagged a laser beam off the bat of Teoscar Hernandez to end the 2nd inning. And wait, did he do it again? Yeah, he did. Rookie Edward Julian has a home run in back-to-back games. He got on base 4 times in this one. He has a stupid 164 OPS plus. If he did not have bricks for hands defensively, he would be in the Rookie of the Year conversation, in my opinion. Max Kepler, he's been a hit machine lately. He's got 5 home runs and 15 RBIs over his last 19 starts. But here comes the Mariners. Tom Murphy and Eugenio Suarez, they both hit home runs. Suarez, he has a home run in 3 straight games. He's finally got his OPS plus back over 100. So it's 3-3 now, and Minnesota was hand-delivered a free run on a wild pitch in the 8th inning. They go up 1, and now they're up 3. This is why we love baseball. Alex Kirilloff, he was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts to begin this game, and then he puts the cherry on top of this game with a 2-run shot the other way. Baseball. Johan Duran, he threw 104 to end the game. He has 16 saves on the year. He's the one righty in baseball I would never want to face. The Twins, they win 6-3. I don't know if that was Javier Baez or Tiger Woods in his prime, because Baez went golfing for his 7th home run, and Erod, he was cooking early. He was basically unhittable through 4 innings, but he got into some trouble in the 5th, allowing Kansas City to steal the lead momentarily on some doubles from Michael Massey and Kyle Isbell. Not to fear, though, because Detroit, they have Kerry Carpenter in their back pocket. This dude has a 130 OPS plus over his first 84 big league games. That's a pretty decent sample size. That dude rakes, so he ties it at 2, and Miggy, he put the team up by 1 as Erod, he settled in. He went 7 innings, only allowed 4 base hits to the Royals. Alex Lang, I wonder if he's going to get shipped at the deadline. He has 16 saves as the Tigers, they've won 6 of their last 10, win, so they're not giving up just yet. Before we end today's recap, let's go ahead and give an update on the standings across baseball. So the Orioles and the Rays, they're officially tied for first place in the AL East. The Central and the West in the AL, it's pretty easy. The Twins and the Rangers. In the National League, even though the Braves have lost 4 in a row, they're still 9.5 games ahead of the Phillies, but the Phillies, they've been playing a whole lot better as of late. Same with the Mets. They've won 3 in a row. The Central, the Brewers are ahead of the Reds by 2.5 games, but every single team in that division won a game. The Cardinals, they won 5 in a row. And then finally in the West, we can see that because the Diamondbacks have won 2 in a row, with the Giants and the Dodgers both losing, they're 1.5 games back of first place, and they're tied yet again with the Giants for second place. And then you have the Padres with a 2-game win streak. Speaking of the Padres, they're now just 6.5 games back of the wild card spot after the Marlins have lost 6 in a row. We can see that the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Phillies are all firmly in that wild, not firmly, they're only a half game ahead of the Marlins and 2 ahead of the Reds. In the AL, right now it's the Rays because the Orioles have beaten the Rays more often this year, so they're in the wild card spot. You have the Blue Jays, the Astros in the driver's seat right now with the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Angels, the Mariners, and the Guardians, all within 6 games. And the Tigers, they've been playing better as of late too, so maybe watch out for them. That does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, do me a favor, leave a like. That helps out the channel a lot. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.